will be solving the Marsh-Wainby question. So the question says in triangle ABC, so we have written the points here ABC, point D lies on segment AC such that ED is equal to DC. So what we can understand from this condition is that D is the midpoint of point between point A and C. And the points B and D are joined by a line segment, as you can see here. And given that angle DBC, so DBC is 15 degree and angle DCB is 30 degrees, so we are asked to find the measure of the angle ABD. So we don't know the angle here, so we will keep it as x degree. Now we can see that there is a symmetry at the point D here, since it's the midpoint or between the point A and C. So what if there's a point on BC? So let's take a point here, point E, such that, so let's take E as a point on BC such that, so if you connect it by line segment, such that DE is equal to GC. Now from the condition we know that AD is equal to BC. So we know that these two sides are equal. Now we know that there's a point on BC that will be on which if you were to connect this point to the point D, then it will be equal to the length of DC. So let's say that that point is point E, which means that DE is equal to DC. Now we have two sides which are equal here, so we have an isosceles triangle here. And we know that whenever we have an isosceles triangle, we know that the base angles will be the same. So we know that this angle is 30 degree. So the other base angle will also be 30 degree. So this will be also 30 degree. Now let's connect the point E with the point A as well by line segment. Now we have another triangle ADE. Now we know that we have the two base angles, so we can use the help of these two base angles. This is point E, this is point C, and this is point D. So we can find the angle ADE, this particular angle here, as it is exterior angle. So when we say exterior angle, it is the sum of the two base angles. So we have 30 degree and 30 degree. So when we add these two, we get 60 degree. So this angle over here is 60 degree. Now in an isosceles triangle, if the vertex angle is 60 degree, we know that it is an equilateral triangle. But let's calculate to show that. So we have these two sides which are equal, because if we know that DE is equal to DC, and since DC is equal to DE, what we can say is that we can also say that DE is also equal to AD. So we have an isosceles triangle here, 60 degree. Now we know that the base angles will be the same. So let's say that the base angles are, let's say A here in this case. So we know that the sum of the angles in the triangle is equal to 180. So A plus 60 will be equal to 180. And we have 2A plus 60 is equals to 180. And now if we were to calculate for A, we will get 60 degree. So both the A's are 60 degree. And we know that if a triangle has angle of 60 degree on the three vertices, it means that it is an equilateral triangle, which means that all the three sides are congruent or equal. Now what we can conclude from here is that the point DE is also equal to the side AE. Now we are concerned with finding x degree over here. So what we can do is to find this angle, what if we could make BE equal to the side length AE as well? And to do that, we can use the help of the obtuse triangle given here. So let's take this obtuse triangle out. So if we were to take this obtuse triangle out, we will have the point B, E, and D. So this is the triangle BED. Now we know that the angle B is 15 degree. And what about this angle? We know that this is 60 degree, which we got from the triangle AED. This is 60 degree and this is 30 degree. So this one here is given as 30 degree. We know that in a straight line, the total angle is 180 degree. but we are just concerned with finding this portion or this angle. So this angle would be simply 180 minus 30 degree, which will be 150 degree. So this angle over here is 150 degree. And we have an unknown angle over here. So let's say that it is B. And we know that the sum of the total angles will be equal to 180. So B plus 15 plus 150 will be equal to 180. So B will be equal to, when we take this sum to the other side, we will get 15 degree as well. Now, what this means is that, now if the two base angles are the same, we have an isosceles triangle, which means that the side BE is equal to the side ED or DE. So now we try to find D over here. So we can see the point DE is equal to the side length BE. Now what this helps us with is we have, so 60 plus 30 we know is 90 degree. This is 90 degree. And for the angle AEB, we also know that it is 90 degree. So if you were to take this, we have 90 degree over here. So let's consider this whole angle as C in this case. And this angle will also be the same because these two side lengths are the same. So the base angles will be also the same. So let's consider this as C. Now we know that the total angle in a triangle is equal to 180. So 2C plus 90 is equal to 180. So we get our C as 45. But that's not our answer because C is the whole angle given here. Now we know that C is equal to x plus 15. X plus 15. So if we were to make x the subject, we will get C minus 15. So our x will be equal to 45 minus 15 degree. That will be equal to 30 degree. So making use of the midpoint D and trying to find further congruent sides, we can calculate the angle x in this case. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.